Good afternoon, everyone. Welcome to another episode of Spilling Tea. I'm your host, Tiffany Daniels. We'll get to the JRC in a minute, but first, a disclaimer and the trigger warnings. If you're unfamiliar with the Stop the Shocks campaign or the campaign against the troubled teen industry, pertinent links will be right there in the description box for you. So if you'd like to deep dive the subjects on your own time, I definitely encourage you to do so. Trigger warnings. This channel is marked not for kids for a reason. First off, I do use profanity, and we do talk on dark topics such as the Judge Rotenberg Educational Center Agape Boarding School for boys, in which case you will hear vivid descriptions of and catch clips of surveillance footage of people with mental health issues and disabled people being tortured and abused. If you have children that are 16 and younger and they are watching this channel, parental supervision is very much advised. Alright, folks. The one-off comment. Let's go ahead and read it here. I am fully in support of this rule. ESDs used in this context are practically torture. Again, short, sweet, straight to the point. You gotta love it. CJRC, you can make a reasonable answer to a question without turning it into the 50-page word salad. It can be done. Next comment. We should have never allowed electric shock devices to be used in the treatment of people. They are human beings with disabilities, not animals. I would say if you even so much as mention doing something similar to an animal, I'm sorry, but that's fighting words, and I will skull stomp you into the pavement. I don't give a fuck. Sorry, not sorry. I am my father's daughter every bit as much as I am my mother's daughter. The JRC is inhumane, and their attitude toward the punishment of people with developmental disability needs to be changed. This concept in regards to how we need to modify human beings to suit ourselves and make them more palatable to us, period, needs to go the way of the dodo. Because that's how we get here, folks. That is how we get here. When you have a diagnosis, that's treatment is focused on every single person around the person with the diagnosis, instead of being focused on helping the individual in question be able to grow in a way that is rewarding to them. It's a slow step down directly into this direction. We need to accept that some people are not neurotypical. We need to accept that that is okay. We need to accept the fact that whatever we may find weird doesn't necessarily make it harmful. And that in the day of social media, we don't need to voice everything we dislike. Sometimes we really can go to that age-old tradition of keeping our mouths shut if we can't find the decency to be polite to other people. Because quite frankly, I do think we need to be bringing that back. I want the FDA to pass a rule banning the use of electric shock devices for behavioral modification, because this is something that should have been outlawed in the 1900s, not in 2024. Boy, you're not kidding. I'm almost 20 years plus in. Believe me. Alright, let's go back. We'll take a look at a couple more comments. Short and sweet. Please stop shocking people for things they cannot control. Thank you. For the love of God, give that one a bullhorn too. This one here. This one says, my heart hurts thinking about this. I support a ban on electrical stimulation devices intended for self-injurious behavior or aggressive behavior. For decades, people with intellectual and developmental disabilities have been tortured by these devices at the Judge Rotenberg Center. It is the only place in the country that still uses this barbaric and inhumane practice, despite substantial evidence that the shocks are painful and traumatizing to residents. Alternative positive behavioral supports exist and are proven to be effective. So, they use the template and they also add something a little bit personal at the beginning. Everybody's heart's hurt, honey. Believe me. My heart has been shattered and broken so many times fighting this fight. Every new piece of information that comes along being more horrifying than the next. I mean, I'm right there with you. Right there with you. All right, let's go back here. Here we go. All right, this one says, there needs to be a slight extension to ban the use of ESDs in conversion therapy camps. Please let me say that again. Hands off to you, sir. There needs to be a slight extension to ban the use of ESDs in conversion therapy camps. I believe the camps should be illegal altogether, as they tend to practice horrible and torturous practices on children. So that kind of brings it into a little bit more and beyond the JRC. We're talking with the troubled teen industry, and they're very disturbingly similar tactics in how they handle their students at their so-called evangelical camps, centers, and schools. If you look into those places, look up Agape Boarding School and look up A Circle of Hope, State of Missouri, United States for me. You want a real horror show. They all practice from the same handbook, folks. Although one's the troubled teen industry, one is to traumatize people like me. If you really look at them, it's the exact same thing. The only difference is that JRC preaches the gospel of pseudoscience. Evangelicals tend to practice something that they think is Christianity that leaves out key components of said Christianity, like, compassion, mercy, feed the hungry, clothe the poor and the naked, visit the sick, visit prisoners, and go straight to the hatred. Just saying. Our American government wants to claim that they want to protect children. This is the best way to prove that this is what they actually want to do. People, we all know they don't give a shit about the children. Can we be blunt here? They get up in arms about Planned Parenthood, while at the same time bitching about kids whose parents can't afford to feed them getting free breakfasts and lunches at school. Sometimes, depending on the situation, the only times that they are actually able to get food to be able to eat. They are pro-life as long as that life is still inside the womb. After that, they're going to do everything they can, especially if you are one of the working poor, to make it as difficult to safely raise your kid as humanly possible. It's not about protecting the kids. It's that it costs nothing to advocate for the unborn. It costs them no money, costs them no tax dollars. It gives them the feeling of being self-righteous without forcing them to do any actual real work to protect children who are here among us. It's a feel-good thing that costs them nothing. Now, what is my stance on it? None of anybody's business. But I do see the hypocrisy. You can't say that you are pro-life except for when the child is no longer in the womb and then screw you. And make me believe that you're standing up for the children. Because you're not. You're advocating for an idea. When that idea becomes an actualized person, you cannot be bothered. Sorry, but somebody's got to tell y'all. People who express self-harm and behavioral issues deserve understanding, love, and care. They do not deserve to experience torture. Very self-explanatory, don't you think? On that note, we're going to go ahead and close out for this one too, folks. We don't get very many views on this channel. The few we do tend to get removed from time to time. Please don't forget to hit the like button, hit subscribe. Don't forget to hit the comments and double check to make sure you are still set up for notifications. We do still have several series going on and a couple that are getting ready to start, and I don't want you to miss anything. I appreciate your time, and as always, we here at Spilling Tea hope you have a good one. I'll see you here in a minute. Bye, everyone.